Hey Jason, I want to give you a quick video on this manual thing that you were trying to work on. So let me run through this real quick here. I'm working on version 180 right now. Um, so the manual mode really doesn't have anything to do with any of your colors. So I have them all turned off. For instance, if I go to the background plots, I've turned off my zones and turned off that. I've even turned off my moving averages. Of course, if you want them, you could just plot them. But for simplicity, I've just kind of turned them all off because we're not dealing with the automatic mode right now. We're only dealing with the manual. So with the manual, the only thing you really have to look at is your quantities and offsets and whatnot. This section here for your trigger. So again, for simplicity, I'll just do one contract. I'll do an offset of 0. So an offset, that just means a 0 is going to be a market order, just instantly get in. And then if you have a positive offset, then that means it's going to do 10 ticks into the future. So once it gets into your trade, past its entry trigger at the end of the bar, it's got to go past that and then it'll trip. If you have a negative offset, then that means once it's tripped, it places the limit order and it has to, do a little quick retracement in order to get it. Otherwise, it will then cancel out here. So right now I'm just going to go with 0 so we can get in easily. So this right here, I'll just touch on that real quick, that if you did have a negative order or a positive order for that matter, and you've got these rather stops or limit orders sitting out there, hanging out at 20 ticks away from your entry, and they're sitting there. If it goes in the opposite direction by 15 ticks, it will, from the entry trigger, it will just cancel those orders, so you don't have them naked out there. So in this case, we're going to get in on a market order, so it's not really going to matter. Again, this is all for automatic stuff. So then the other section then is B, and that's trade management. So for, again, simplicity, I'm not going to get into these right now. I'm just going to turn them all off. And all I'm going to use is my initial stop management, which will be, I'm just going to put a 40 stop on there, and I don't have a target at all. Matter of fact, let's put a target on there. Let's do 40. How about a 1-to-1? So I'll put 40 tick target on there, and I'm not going to do any stop management. The only other thing that here is for your manual is this one right here is for manual. I'll get into that afterwards. And then this one here is, right now it's set for momentary. So if you hit an entry bar and it gets you in, or if it places a pending order, if you had an offset and then it gets you out, then that's it. It's a one and done kind of situation. That's the default. If for some reason you want to keep that on all the time, it's dangerous. But if you said, enter on a long bar, that means every long bar that you're flat, as soon as it gets a long bar, a reversal bar to the upside, you're getting in. And if you go to the bathroom, forget to turn it off or something, next thing you know, you're in the long. So that's why I like the one and done. So this was the original, and then we have it switched around. So that's the only one that's default is off, and I'm just going to leave it off. I'm not going to do it. And then, well, I'll just talk about this one here real quick in case I forget. If you did have this one turned on, this is just synthetic data, which I call, a different time frame. So right now you see I'm working a 13.2 chart. But let's say I wanted to trip. I'm looking and viewing at a 13.2 chart, but I wanted to trip at something smaller. So you could say, give me a synthetic data, and you could say, let's do like a 3-1. And that way is when it gets to your area and you hit the long bar, all you need is 3 ticks in one direction and 1 tick back, and boom, you're in. So it's really quick. So it's like pretty much instant. It'll still chase, and obviously the bigger you have, the bigger ticks back you have, it'll chase better, so you can get a better fill. But on the other hand, you have risk the possibility that you could get a worse fill because you're giving up 3 ticks or 4 ticks or something. So so that's, I could explain that a little bit more in detail, but it gets a little bit more complicated. But I'll just not do that right now. So in any event, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on. I'm on playback here. Pause until it loads. Okay, so now it's on. you know, you're doing your thing, your management, your trading, etc. It's always going to default to pause. If you switch the automatic mode, it'll always pause. It'll go to pause also. So it's just kind of like a double check kind of thing. And I've had some problems that, oh, I left these on. Those are standard. Here, let me turn those off real quick. Stop that. Go here. Those are the standard. I got to turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it back on for later. VWAP. And that's, I thought I turned that off, but let me turn off the high low too. Yep, don't need that. So again, you have your own plot. You can have all the plots that you want. All that, oh, just incidentally here, all the, all this 1 through 5 business is plotting, and you know, group 2 is exclusions, as far as, you know, filters, if you call them. Background plots, you know, where do you want the entry zones, any offsets, things like that. EMA plots, any alert plots, audible alerts, things like that. That's all the numerics. Once you get into the alpha, that's all trade management. You know, where you want it to trigger, your offsets, your targets, initial stops, you know, things like that are all in here. And then I showed you a little bit of the trade management, and then I showed you a little bit of that already. Statistical data. So all that. This is where the two got married together. If you might have seen the some of my page on entry zones. This basically is the entry zones, and this is the trade management. This was a strategy, and this was an indicator. I did them as separate components, and I married the two of them together. So now these are, you know, set up on the screen. And then based on your entry management, it triggers off those in the auto mode. But in this, I have them all turned off, and it doesn't matter because the manual mode, there is, you know, there's really nothing to worry about so much. So anyway, so here we are going along, and you see some sort of, you know, fib or resistance or whatever it is right now. You want to go up. So this is what you would do. You see your trigger, and it'll chase it down. So you'll notice, unless I get tripped real quick. As soon as we hit that trigger, it's going to get us in because we're on a market order. There it is, and there's our 40 and 40. You know, that's pretty much it. That's it. If you didn't get filled, I want to get out of here. If you didn't get filled, then that would chase down. So let's say we want to go short. So now you're going to see a red one here, and you'll see this just move up until the point comes where it's going to get you in because it trips down, or you turn it off because you don't like it anymore. So, you know, let's say there's a fib there or whatever it is that you're looking at, and, you know, you want to kind of go short at that area. That's it. Now, had it gone up a little higher, this would have chased up, and then eventually you would have got knocked into it. So that's that. The other thing was, let me go over these. Let me show you what these are going to look like. So in here, if you go into your triggers there, and let's do an offset. So let's say we're only going to do one right now, and let's say it's we're going to do an offset of, let's make it you know, 15, so it's very noticeable. So it's a positive 15. So a positive 15, I'll get rid of that, is going to get you in the money. So for instance, if it goes away from you, it's going to cancel itself out after 15 ticks in the wrong direction. But if it goes in your direction, then it's going to get you in. The only problem with that is, you know, confirmation costs. So, you know, the more in the money you go, then, you know, you're due for a, you know, it's just going to cost you more. So let's say I want to go south. And I'm waiting here, and I'll pause it here in a second as soon as I get it. So again, as I said, this is going to chase up, or I turn it off. So again, if I don't like it anymore, I just turn that off. It'll turn itself off as soon as it trips. So what I'm trying to go a little faster here. Of course. Okay, there it is. So that's what I was talking about. It tripped, and now it put it 10. Everything gets measured from the enter trigger, so it's going to be 10 ticks from or, well, we said 15. I'm sorry. It's going to be 15 ticks from the entry trigger in the money. Okay, so here's our order sitting. Now, if it turns around and goes the other way, it's going to cancel itself out after 15 ticks from the entry. So if it comes up there, right there, then you just saw it cancel itself out, and now we have to do it again if we still want it. So, and once it places an order, it locks it in there. So as you see it, you know, it moves up and moves down, but once it actually trips an order, now in this case we had an offset, so it didn't actually take the order, but it tripped it. So that's why it's there, you know, for historical purposes. So let's do the opposite. So let's do the opposite here. I'm going to turn that off. Come back here, and let's make it entry trigger is, let's go negative 15. And just, I mean, I kind of have a feeling you probably know what you're going to see here, but I could just show you since I'm doing it. We pause. Okay, so now let's say we want to go up, and waiting for that to trip. Come on. Seriously. Okay. Okay.
Bearish moving average cross.
Oh, I forgot to turn the audio off. All right.
Order submitted.
Okay.
Canceled.
Well, okay. So the order was 15 ticks. You saw it in a splash of a second. So the order was is waiting for that retracement of 15 ticks because we did a negative. So we're waiting for that pullback. However, in this case, it went up 15 ticks and canceled itself out because our cancel if not filled was at 15 ticks. So I guess that was not probably the best management to do. So let me get out of here, and let's do another one here. Let's go up.
Order submitted.
Okay, so there's a pending order. So there's 15 ticks from the trigger, waiting for it to come back and get us. And if it gets too far away, it's going to cancel again. And there it is. We're out again. All right, let's go down. So, all right. So basically, that's about it. I mean, oh, one other thing: staggered orders. So let's do that.
Order submitted.
Yeah, so let's just
submitted.
make it get out real quick. There we go. Okay, so staggered orders. So let's say you want to put on multiple contracts. Well, if you want to have them all the same, you would just put them on here. Put 3, 6, however many contracts you want on there. But let's say we want them staggered. So I want at 1, and I want to get that one in market order right away. Get in 1. If it retraces, let's use 10. If it, I'm sorry, 1. We're going to do 1 contract there. And if it retraces, I want to say negative 10, or let's do a positive 10. So we're going to get 1 in the money. So if it keeps going, it'll grab the second contract. And then we'll grab a third contract, but let's go negative 10. Okay? And so 1's going to get on right away, and then 2 of them will be sitting in the directions. Now 1's going to get canceled if it just takes off right away. If it pulls back, grabs this one, and then goes back into trade, you'll get 3. So you'll get them in either direction. But let's make this not cancel until, well, let's beef that up a little bit. So let's say not cancel for 40 ticks. So it'll just hang out there. Well, actually, our stop's at 40. So, all right, let's say 35 in any event. So again, so our initial stop is going to be the profit target. Let's just do, just so we can visually see it a little easier, let's go 50. And the stop will be, I don't know, let's say 50. We'll do a profit target 2 of, let's make that 60. And the stop for that one will be, I like 50. I like them all because just because you're getting in at a better or worse fill, the entry trigger is where the order came from. You're going to get averaged in, but your entry trigger is your setup. So if you get a better fill because of an offset, that's great. If you get a worse fill because of an offset, or if you have a market order and you lose some because of slippage, that's here and there. That's regardless. The point of it is your setup is the entry trigger. So that's where all the math comes from. So you could stagger it. You could say the first one I want to get in at 50. I have a stop of 50, and the other one I got in a little better with or worse actually. So I'm only going to give that a stop of 40, and maybe this one you'll give a stop of you got in at a fill of 10 offset to the positive better. So maybe you give that a 60 or whatever. I again go back to the premises that the entry trigger is your setup, and everything starts from there, regardless of how you get into the trade. So that's that. I'm not going to deal with any stop loss at this point, management business. So let's just go with this one and let it go. So let's turn that one on and kind of see how this one's going to play out. I'll pause. Okay. So I'll probably turn it down a little bit and turn it on pause, and let's go. I'm going to go up. Okay, there we go. So we got in right away on the first one, a little slippage because it's a market order. So we have one contract. Our second contract is sitting here. So if we go in the money, so we're going to get in on a worse fill, because our setup was here. So at 10 ticks, we're going to get on this one. So we're, you have to pay for confirmation, but we're going to get in on that one. So we'll be on two contracts. If this one doesn't get filled by, what do we say, 40 ticks, it's going to cancel. Or if the stop moves up before it. And you can always move these too, by the way. But this is set up for our 10 ticks in the rears. So there's our 10 tick backwards. And so we may or may not get that one. I don't know. Now, if it came back right now, we would get in this one. We'd be in 2. And then if it went up, we'd be in 3. And then we go to our target. So right now we have one contract, one target, one stop, and some pendings here in the middle. So let's slow it down just a second to see what's going to happen. Okay, so we just got that one here. So now we're in 2. There's our two targets, and because we set them all at the same spot, there's our two stops, two targets. Okay, so we still have one pending order. If it gets down, I think I said 40 ticks or 35, I forget what I had. But anyway, wherever this is going to cancel. So in the meantime, it's just going to hang here until it trips. And let's see what happens. Guess I can go a little faster.
Order submitted.
Okay, so now we're in 3. So we've averaged ourselves in. So basically, we're right back to where we started from. Here's our entry trigger with a little slippage, a minus a 10, a positive a 10 from here, and so basically now we're in 3. So I guess in this scenario, we could have just put in 3 market orders and been done with it, but you never can tell. Okay, so I guess I've had both at the same. Did I have both targets together? Why is there 2 targets? Targets 60. Oh, I guess 60 and 60. Okay. So I made both targets the same. That would explain why I see bad information in, bad information out. So I have 2 targets right there, staggered a little bit, and then the stop. Now I don't have any trail stops, so it's not gonna trail right now. And you could do. There's a whole bunch of. There's 4 levels of stop management, but I turned them all off right now. So that's pretty much it. So there we go, and bada boom, bada bang. All right. So that was cool that it won. So last but not least, the only that doesn't really concern. I'm done with the I take that back. Let me do one more thing. And let's go to group C, the synthetic. Let's say I'm on a 13-2 chart, but I want it to trip right away. So I'll make it a 2-1. So it's just moving averages. So a 2-1 moving average, or whatever you want to put in there. But let's just say a 2-1. So basically, it's really quick. So I'm going to say go, and what it's doing is it's using that 2-1 trigger information instead of this. So right now, as you select buy on an up bar or sell on a down bar, it's these bars. And if you're on a big, if you're on a huge chart, well, then you can be waiting there for quite some time for it to change. So basically, you can see it on this chart, but you'll see it intra-trade because it's based on a 2-1. So I'm going to turn it down because, as I say, it's going to be real quick. So let's say I'm at my area. I don't want to wait. Right now, if I said buy on a down or sell on a down bar, it would have my entry trigger there. But maybe I'm right in that area and I just want to do it now. You'll see it. It's based on a 1-2. So all I need is that 1-2. Boom, I'm in. Because it's basing it off a synthetic data series, which is the 2-1 chart. Oh, and I forgot. Yeah, I had the same trade management, so didn't change that, I guess. So in any event, so now I got two. One got in. Now I'm waiting. Again, we'll get a third one if we do go down. So that's it. That's all I wanted to show you on that. So we're done with the manual side of it. And if you want to see our status box, you can pick that up. Oh, look at that. We made some money. Okay, so now we're back in. Yeah, another winner. Sweet. And I'm doing this blind. I have absolutely no clue what is here. It could be a fib here, or it could be some pivots, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just showing you. So, all right. So last but not least, and again, it doesn't explain what you wanted to know, and that's just I'm just going to go it since we're here, and that is the backgrounds and plots. If you wanted to put on I don't know, let's say a 50 period moving average, and you wanted to plot, you could do that. And if you wanted a 200 moving average and you wanted that to plot, you could do that. If you want a third one, you could, this one you could pick. Let's say you want a 5-minute chart. Again, synthetic data again. Let's say we're doing a 5-minute chart. You can do 5 there because these are for Ninja. So let's do the period is going to be a what did I say, 50 or something? Let's go there. I forget. One's from Ninja. Anyway, so it's like a 50 period moving average on a 5 based on. Oh, got to check that. Based on a 5-minute chart, and I want it to plot. So let's do that too. So okay. So now we have that. Now the only thing. Okay, so that's going to plot. I mean, it's pretty much simple as that. If you want background colors and everything, but you don't even need this chart. You can make those all go away, and you could just go get your own background business. So you can go get your regular indicators, your let's say some throw some Bollingers on there, and I don't know whatever else you want to put on whatever is on here. I don't even know what a lot of this stuff is. No, we'll throw in my lines. How's that? These are the SR lines, support and resistance lines, which you could download for free. Store those on there. And again, you know me, I like right here, I have the data series. So I have the ability, oh, that's that one. Where is it? Where's my data series? Oh, that's no, that's not mine. Okay, I was gonna say that's not mine. That's the Ninjas. Let me get rid of that one. Let's put mine on. SR. Let's do, where is it? SR lines. There we go. There. These have synthetic because I like synthetic. So I again like to see, now it just so happens this is a 13.2 chart, so it won't do any good, but let's go bigger. Let's put it on a 34.8 chart. Okay, so the regular blue and red is going to be for this particular chart if you want to see them, otherwise you can turn them off or make them transparent. But these darker ones are going to be from the higher time frame, the 34, or if you want like a minute or something like that. Forget it, just use this. Okay, so you can make your own backgrounds. And we can get rid of that one line I put on there. So where are my lines? I gotta put some data in there. So you could do your own thing, and then when you're ready to, set the chart the way that you normally would set your chart, and there's our line. So let's say here we're at a line right here. We broke it. So I want to go down. I gotta wait for my thing to populate. Hold on now. Wait for it to populate. Okay, I just turned on a strategy. So let's say you're looking at your chart with all your pretty lines and everything, and these are the moving averages that we added on there. There's the 1, 2, and then 3. And so now we say, oh my gosh, look at the Bollinger Bands are saying this, and so I want to go short in my nearest opportunity. So let's just let's do it. So let's
Order
set it now.
submitted.
Boom,
Order
there's my
submitted.
order.
Order
Oh, that's right. I
canceled.
forget it. We set it for a 2-1 chart. It's gonna be happening quick. But you could change it to, oh, matter of fact, if you don't want to target, you can kill them. If you don't want targets, it'll just run. Now, of course, I don't have any stop management, so it's not going to do much. So it's not going to chase me down. But if I did, you could just kill him. Don't kill this one, though. If you did, you can go to the control panel and kill it that way. Get out of the trade. So my stop management isn't going to run.
Order
Oops,
failed.
it didn't. Hold on. Okay, I turned off that synthetic data series because it was just too tight. That 1-2 was just too fast for me. So I like to be able to, kind of, especially doing it at fast speed here. Those are just audibles, moving average crosses. So anytime you get bearish or bullish, you'll hear that. If you want them on, I forgot to turn them off. So basically, you want to go. So say we're going to go long. So we'll wait. We have to wait. You want to kind of get long down here. The moving averages. There you go. So now let's say we're in our area. So now let's just chase it down. I'm going to turn on the long, and we're just kind of waiting. And if it gets too far down, I'm going to turn it off. But I usually don't trade Bollinger, but
Order canceled.
voila, there we go. So, and I don't have any stop management, so I would probably hide under that.
Target filled.
And that's it.
Target
So pretty much simple. All right, that's all I got. If you have any questions, you can email me, or we're in our Skype group, or social hour, or the contact page, or whatever. I'm easy to get a hold of. All right, have a good weekend. I'm out of here.